Good morning. It is chilly. It's cold this morning. So I have been it's kind of interesting. There's a strange loop. Well, I don't know. I'm doing that thing where I regress to to where I want minimalist systems, and I just hate everything modern. all the modern workflows, modern programming schemes. It's all bad. I hate it. So I've been messing around with UXN some more, and I love the philosophy of it. I'm gonna figure out something I can do with it that's very useful. I hope. If it's just a fun toy to play around with, that's fine too. But there's stuff that it can do. I know it. I can feel it in me bones. And to do stuff with it in that manner would be delightful. Yeah, it's just like the change of pace, or the simplicity, or that I just hate the modern workflow. It's so refreshing to have to deal with simple stuff, or deal with stuff that doesn't lead to the usual cycle of building, compiling, generating an artifact, testing it, finding a problem, modifying, building, compiling, moving the artifact around to where it needs to go to test it. It's just annoying. It's crufty. It feels bad. And I do lots of little hacks and tricks to make that eval process as quick as possible. But they're still chasing the Lisp machine. We're still chasing Smalltalk. We're still chasing the Alto. I mean, Common Lisp can do all this stuff, as far as I know. Opening things up so that you can just jump on into them and be like, hey, so you now, I want to add a function to you, and now you have it. What do you think of it? Oh, it doesn't work. I don't like it. Okay, let me tweak it here. How do you like it now? Okay, I like it. It fits. Okay, good. This is now a button. I just added a function to the software, and it is a button. And when I push the button, it works, but it doesn't do quite what I expected. Let me modify it again, and then update it, and then update your namespace. It's not even a namespace technically. Your runtime environment, and run it again, and yeah, that's exactly what I want. I just extended this application, and that's the dream, I guess. To be able to talk to the application like that in a homo iconic mode, and to be able to actively query the runtime and modify the runtime. It's just so nice. That's what I don't think UXN has it technically, but that is what got me to 4th. And that's the idea of that, a keyboard's kind of keyboard's my interest, so it would be neat to have a fourth keyboard. But there's just something cool about that. It just breaks all the paradigms, and it's so refreshing. Yeah, delightful is not a word I use often when I'm talking about programming, but like the UXN type stuff, all the simple stuff, it is delightful. It's pleasant. Oh yeah. So while I'm working with UXN and just kind of reviving my interest in Forth, like when I get in this mode, like he the guy that wrote it released a conference, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this guy's conferences. I love this stuff. And then I listened to it, and he laid out the problem statement so perfectly, and I was just like, oh no, he's getting in my head again. My brain is shifting back into this like regressive mode of just I hate those things. I don't want them. I don't want to have to deal with them. Super frustrating. So while I'm doing that, I'm building a circuit board and KiCad. No, I haven't had any problems with KiCad. Yeah, I think I had one crash. Yeah, I think I had one crash, but that's kind of to be expected. That's not a big deal. And what else? Yeah, everything else was related to me having old libraries. So KiCad doesn't. There were crashes related to old libraries and old footprints, and there were little traps you could get caught into, where if you open up an old library and then make a modification to the footprint and go to save it, in some cases it'll just crash. But what it's actually trying to tell you is, hey, I don't want to update these old footprint libraries. I can't write to them. They're a bad format or something like that. So you just make a new library. They call it it's a legacy library, and it doesn't warn you in all cases that you can't write to legacy libraries, that it's not going to support them anymore. So pulling footprints out and then making a new library and then saving to those is just the proper way to transfer them, I guess. But that's just window dressing. You kind of have to figure it out. Like it doesn't mind these libraries, but it does mind that library. What if I run this in the console and then see what the standard output is? Let's see what that says. Oh, I've been thinking about getting UXN running on the Pocket chip, because that has a keyboard on it. Oh, or figure out if the UXN DS emulation has any interface with the expansion port. Yeah, imagine having the DS running UXN and then being able to plug a keyboard into it. That'd be interesting. Right. So, having a pretty good time. I'm in KiCad. I just hate Python syntax. I think that's it. I just hate Python syntax. I'm good with it. I'm fine with it. I'm comfortable in it if you give me a week or two to get back into the mode. But it's just so annoying to get back into, and I don't know why. I don't know. I'd rather be in JavaScript. Like even JavaScript, like you can poke around in there and figure stuff out. But the Python is just like, it's so precise and feels inconsistent. Like I can't just guess at things and get it. And maybe that says more about me. I'm not sure. I just always have problems with it. It's annoying. But I've been I have many switch movement functions that help me place switches and footprints and stuff like that. And it just seems like every single time there's a keyboard, there's a new keyboard that has a slightly odder layout that does not need any of these things. And then I have to write a slightly different function. But I have been writing them in a more functional manner so that they do transfer. At least I am now. Like this morning, I was like, "Oh, I've already got a movement function. I'll just use that one." And I'm like, "What is module? What is it? Just a generic call to module? Like, why would it call module? What is module? Like, module's not defined here, of course, because we've got side effects and global variables." It's my own code. Oh, it's supposed to go that way. Or maybe. I don't know. No, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Still fun to make PCBs and write code that makes PCBs populate. Oh, right. So that strange loop. There's a strange loop talk that I'd been getting in my feed for a while, and I'm like, I got a lot of other stuff going on. I'm gonna put that off. I didn't really want to watch it, and I was like, all right, now's probably a good time, and watched it, and I finally subscribed to Strange Loop because it's their talks always stick out of my head. But this one was Stop Writing Dead Programs, and it made me think about that time when I was learning C++, and I was like, I realized that perhaps I didn't fail to understand it. Perhaps I did understand it, and I thought it was stupid. Because that's pretty much what this video is about. The guy's like, all right, so here's our current programming paradigms, here's our current programming methodologies and processes and workflows and all that. And then if you go back to the 60s and 70s, like, that didn't exist. This, like, being able to query and update things at runtime was just like normal. And then we were like, no, we can't have normal. We need to increase production costs. Like, I don't know what. I'll say it a million times. We've gone backwards. And then we got comfortable going backwards. And we're like, look at all the progress we're making. It's bad. It's bad. But it was kind of interesting to have him kind of confirm a lot of the feelings that I was having about it, because I just, like, a lot of times, I don't understand why I feel a certain way or think a certain thing, and then, like, a couple years later it'll become clear, or someone will explain it in a way that I'm like, that's exactly why. Like, it's hard to put your finger on exactly why this just sucks. And then someone can come along who is classically trained and professionally educated and be like, here is precisely why this sucks. And I was like, yeah, that's it. It just felt bad. Like, I don't like this. Can't really explain why this sucks, but I know that it sucks. This is not fun. This does not spark joy. And the joy that is sparked by being able to reach into an API or a scripting console or, golly, the actual runtime environment and be like, hey, what are you running? hey, you're using this macro. What does that macro do? Sure, Forth will decompile and disassemble for you. Like, here it is. Here's what you asked for. Literally exactly what that routine is. It's so nice. It's just I guess that's what the point was. It's so alive. It's a living thing that you can reach into and be like, hey, let me poke and prod you and see what's going on, and where does it hurt? Does it hurt when I poke here? And then, okay, well, what is that thing that I'm poking? What is the problem with it? What does it need to do? How does it need to be fixed? And then I can just fix it right now. Complete uptime. We didn't have to stop anything. Zero downtime. It is objectively better in every way. And then we were just like, nah, dog, let's just make it bad instead.